You're listening to Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, here with
Joel.
And our guest today is Mathew Chan-Piu.
Yes, correct. Or you could use my other name, Brackheimer, but
Jerry Brackheimer.
yeah. So just keep that at the low, okay?
No relation.
No relation. Yeah.
I hope I get happy because humor, but okay. Thanks, Mathew, for coming on the podcast. Mathew is a producer and writer. Those are the main things I know about you.
Producer, writer, directed a bit, and author. I'm writing
a book.
Yeah.
Great. So are you Ugandan?
Yes, I am. Born in Kasese, Kilembe Mines, have a village. Ugandan 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Living in Uganda right now?
Yeah. Always love being home because of my girl and my boy, but travel quite sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we talk about your companies first, the ones you have?
Okay, so I have two. Mm-hmm. One is called Swift Films, predominantly, which is just for writing. Which what I started out with, being a writer, writing scripts, and try to make connections to sell them and produce them. The second one is with my friend, my business partner in Kenya, called Steve Aminde. It's Light Media. It's the one that actually produces films, also does audio, music, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then last year I created a writers group called the League of 1,000 Pens. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to start with your before you became who you are right now. Like straight off campus, did you study film? When did you get into film?
Never studied film. Fell in love with film as a child. I think like most people, you watch a movie, you're fascinated. But the changing point in my life was watching Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. Totally blown away. He instantly became my favorite director and one of my favorite films of all time. But it was after that I started writing, because I used to write. I was good at writing lyrics. Like I can write music, compose, arrange. But I was very good at like breaking down stories of movies, books, or even creating new stories, especially in class. So after watching that, like it was the moment that made me want to do film. Actually want to write film first.
What point was that in your life? Were you done with school?
No. I was born in 79. This was like maybe 88.
How old were you?
I should have been like coming to 9 by then. Or 10.
Wait.
Oh man, bloomed early.
Yeah.
You watched 2001 A Space Odyssey when you were 9?
Yeah.
And it blew you away.
It blew me away. I already loved film.
I would not process that.
By then I had watched Star Wars, I watched Alien, I watched Terminator. I was already a fan of Cameron, Spielberg, George Lucas. I like reading. Yeah. I'd go to the library, I'd go to a bookshop and look for books, of directors or who they are. Star Wars was a big piece, so there's a lot of literature about it. Encounters of the Third Kind was a big piece, so there was like literature about it. Kubrick, by then already had early 90s. I think he already had Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
Yeah, he did, right? So all of that, all these pieces were there, so I would read. But the one thing that haunted me was I had not seen a script format. Yeah. So it was only until I was watching, it was Die Hard 2 on tape.
Yeah.
There was like a small sequence after the movie, like a behind the scenes, a EPK. Yeah. And then when Joel Silver was talking, they showed the script. They showed a flash of the script. Then I paused. So I paused, like, wait, this is what I've been looking for. But I was not so far off. I think I was like 86% there. And the scene had like action, dialogue, headings. So I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I've now fixed things permanently for myself. But I think as of to date, I've not written a lot this last 2 years. But the last time I did a count, I have like 287 scripts written.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I've been writing for a long time.
Yeah.
Then when did you pick up a camera for the first time? When did you start the
Yeah,
serious
pick up
stuff?
a camera. Growing up at home here, like when we were younger, I'm going to be 38, so when we were younger, Uganda was kind of bleak the days after the war. So we had like major issues, HIV, unemployment. It was hard, I remember, because seeing our parents, seeing other people's parents, and one of the things I remember quite clearly was the AIDS epidemic, because like we all knew somebody. We knew our uncle, our brother, our sister. Like I grew up like seeing somebody with AIDS around us every day. Full blown AIDS, like like that bad stage, which people don't see anymore, right? And so it was always like this. You were either going to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what parents, all our parents saw us being, right?
Yeah.
So it was very difficult to convince them otherwise. Try to convince them to send you to film school, who was just not a factor. Hey, but everybody around you, your own friends, very few visionaries were amongst us. Like, it was crazy, but I had not given up on it. But I was following my other passion. I love music because I'm a cinephile and audiophile.
Okay.
So I absolutely love hip hop. That is like I'm a master in that field also, right? So my friends like Mathew, me, Rionga, were the first group of guys who were like, would go out and rap, So we'd go out and do it. There was a place called DV8. We'd go and do it from there. Yeah, we'd go and do it at the Woods Festival, and we were good at it, we were very dope at it, freestyling and so on, right? Music, and we started producing it. So because the same thing we had, like, why are you rapping in English? Nobody gives a shit, like.
Oh my God.
Just don't do it. Wasting your time. What can you make a career out of it? And we started doing these things, and it was like, when you're young, you're rebellious. Yeah, you just have a rebellious gene in you, right? Luckily for me, like, I think my parents would see me constantly pushing these agendas, and they kind of figured, okay, he's serious, right? So I had a deal with my mom and dad. I'll go to university, do my university stuff, and then beat your path, the way you want it to be. So yeah, even us in music, and then like it's so cool because there's so many things having been involved in music, film, in UG, like being a pioneer in both of them, like especially the rap and hip hop. Okay. And then film, and then to see today, like people can actually make a living off it. Yeah, it's like really cool because you look back and you're like, man, you guys have no idea how we fought with those keys at the door to open this thing. Right? So it was until I got to campus, because film is always it's inherently expensive.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You can have the grandest idea on paper, but it's expensive. Music was easier to do because we had our own setups. We had computers, you could get the beats, you could make them. So it was easier to do that. It's like your setup here, right? It's how we used to do it, music. But the thing is, like, film was difficult, DSLRs were not available, yeah. And even when they became available, they were expensive, right? So I never bothered to. I kept my writing because really, I wanted to write. Kind of get discovered or write a book or something. Then I went to university and met my brother from another mother, Steve Ominde, in our first class. Because I studied in USIU in Kenya. Just like me, he wanted to do film. So he had been going through the same thing. So that was 2002, end of 2001, 2002. So we're at campus until 2005. And every day we are like plotting our master plan. We're going to make a film. And we're going to blow up, we're going to be at the academies, But what we did was, over the years, I believe in good karma. You're good to people. I have respect people. I do command respect, but I'm respectful of people. So over the years of meeting people in the field, both on his end and my side, and when I was in Nairobi, I met people through him. People could see we were serious. So by the time we finished campus, we had saved some cash. And we said, okay, let's do this. So it became like a weekend project, because you gotta work, Yeah. So it became like a weekend project, like, map out who has cameras, who has equipment, and then you hire them. But the thing is, we never paid the cast completely. these are all people who are just like friends, singers, Joe Akali, Nini, Chris Kirubi,
Cool.
gave us his office. He acted in the movie. Getch Boy.
That's like a tycoon in Kenya.
Yeah.
Big dude.
One of the biggest
That was
dudes.
one of your first films.
That was our
Insane,
first
man.
film.
What was it about?
It was that was Steve's story. Steve had a story, an idea. He wanted to do a thriller. What if a Kenyan doctor discovered the cure for HIV, and then
I think I watched that. Was
Formula.
it produced?
Yes.
I think I watched it. Yeah.
Yes.
In school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in USIU they screened. I think they screened it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember guys said
You
they
went
would.
to
Yeah,
USA.
yeah.
Yeah. Legendary. Yeah. So, Formula X.
Yes, I watched it.
So Formula X opened my eyes to so many other things. But first of all, we did it with a labor of love. We shot it even during the Kenyan election violence. We finished it. It was just good karma. A lot of top people. I mean, guys were in their prime. Nonini, Getch Boy, Chris Kirubi, man. Like, the guy who introduced us to him and spoke to him, and he had that love for young hustlers. Young, like, use my office, man. I'll be in the movie. Like, God damn, I'm like, So we did. We shot it, did it, and then one of the craziest things was after doing it.
What happened?
What happens? So I'm always one of these people who thinks outside the box. I don't believe. I said this in the lab. I said I don't believe anything is impossible, just mathematically improbable. I don't. I mean, if you can put a man on another planet, I mean, surely you can do pretty much anything, right? So I remember after that, that was the biggest thing. The whole group was like, what do we do? Now everybody wanted a cinema release. I kept telling my friends, I said, first of all, we don't even have a promo budget. Yeah? Forget the fact that we've made a good movie. But who's going to attend the premiere? Just our friends and family? That's okay. But we can't go to New Metro and say like, yo, give us like 2 screens. I said, first of all, this is business, right? Even if they give you their smaller screen, like 8-seater or something, right? You're going to lose money because you have to make a deal with them, with the cinema, that you're like going to split the ticket shares, or you're going to hire the place for like 2 weekends, right? So essentially we got to find money and hire 2 screens or 4, and it was a back and forth. This was before Facebook, Twitter. I mean, I come from that time. We had internet. I mean, YouTube came up. YouTube really blew up in 2003. Because it started a while ago, but 2003, I remember when YouTube really blew up, right? So Twitter, those things were not there. I was like, we never knew those things were going to be there, but I was like, dude, just think about how much you got to go to Kenyan newspaper, Standard, or Nation Media, and book a poster page, and say, we want it in color. We don't even have that cash, man. It took us 3.5 years to make a movie, right? So I was the guy who was always angry. Steve is my real bro, like, he listens to me. So anyway, finally, guys hustled and got the movie in the cinema. I was in the cinema. It was okay. It was there like, I think they tried to do it like a month or something. The returns were not so good. But I had opened a YouTube page for the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm good with gadgets and, programming. So I had done stuff on it. So I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then one day I just went back and I checked. The inbox was flooded. And it was a guy, man. There was this one guy who was just pissed at me. I remember opening the first message. It's like, does the person who runs this account read these messages? Yeah, I am a distributor. I like your movie trailer. I would like to see it and I would like to sell it. That was my light bulb moment. I was like, wait a minute, this is it right here. So I got back in touch with Steve, and then because I'd come back to UG, I told him, and then we started now. The movie started being distributed now, so we moved away from the whole cinema thing, started distributing it. So it actually started like bootlegged.
Yeah.
Like that. So now suddenly we had a distribution chain, and it made money. It started bringing money back. TV stations bought it, bigger TV stations bought it. But I was still hungry, at that time. I was like, I want to see if I can make, and it swept awards, the Killer Show Awards, it swept them. It went to some festivals abroad. People liked it. So that one was done. One of the things that drove me back home was people always have a tendency of speaking for all of us Ugandans that say, Ugandans, what do they know? They can't do this, they can't do that. And this was around the time I have another good friend called Soler. Yeah.
So awesome.
A very good friend of mine. So we've also been in the trenches together in film.
What does Soler do?
Producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugandan.
Full, yeah. So at that time, she was at Fast Track Productions, gathering, like I would say, an A-team, like to, and the hostel story had been got, and then I came on board. So I came on board just as hostel was launching.
Yeah.
So that was huge. Like I came in like just as the hostel, thing had blown up. And it was exactly what I'd always wished for, because Saturday we had a show. They had created something that everybody wanted to see. It was local.
Yep.
But now it was beyond borders, because it was South Africa, Zimbabwe. It didn't matter where you went across the continent, because DSTV carried it. DSTV carried it, then DSTV carried it, and that was a game changer. Because when DSTV put it on, like it was crazy. Like we would look at our inboxes, Facebook, email. My God, it was nuts. It was overwhelming. And suddenly now this proved that look, we can. Because I never subscribed to the whole thing of like, because you're African, you're Ugandan, yes, tell your story, but tell it in a certain way. Talk about witchcraft, you're a border guy, But I can't make the witchcraft like Doctor Strange opens portals. It was something I felt people owe this shackles with. So you can't make a story that appeals to like people across the globe. It's like no, you like do your thing. Let Hollywood and Bollywood, Nollywood do theirs, and then we'll watch it. But so it was amazing what had been done, and then I joined the team, and hostel was huge. Like you travel and like you go. I even got people saw my name now on the project afterwards. And so we're like a professional production company, because yes, we had a hostel, so we did season 2, season 3, but we knew we have to do something else. So they had come up with an idea called 5 at Home, a show, and I joined them.
Wait, I don't know about that
Big
show. Where?
DSTV
On
right
Fox.
Really?
Fox now, yeah, by the way.
It's a Ugandan?
Yeah.
Everything worked in that company, because from Soler, who was the head of production, to us, the writers, to the technical guy Aldo, to our boss Conrad, everybody was a unit, a team. We just moved in one direction, So by the time we did season 3, the hostel, typical. I say it's typical because one thing that saddens me is like, in our business here back home, people kind of don't want to hold hands. Like, I'm successful and I'm willing to work with people and do things, and people find that strange of me, because normally somebody makes a movie and then they take it to the film festival, or they have a red carpet launch at National Theatre, they've arrived. They don't want to talk to anyone.
I know.
They don't want to better their craft. You know what I mean? They feel. And I'm like, dude, man, you guys don't see this, right?
Yes.
I have watched endless, because I'm a big fan of Blu-rays. I have so many of them. And I've watched so many behind the scenes, and you see like Cameron crafting Avatar, right?
Yeah.
It's his idea. He's had it as a child. He's an A-list dude. I mean, like, you wouldn't primarily correct Cameron or Spielberg, but there'll be the other guy at the end of the table, and it'll be like, no, what if we do this and we do that? And these guys listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the only way it works. We work together. Yeah, okay, you won, or you launched a movie, but what? Most of the guys are in it for the fame, and then they don't want to work with people. So we started seeing the same thing, actors starting to believe that they are the character. Because one of the things we had was like, by the time we got season 3, the hostel was so big, people had become I thought they'd become entities. So one guy wakes up and decides, I will not go on set today unless they increase my salary.
Yeah.
And it's a domino effect. That means if you don't come to work for a week, everybody else around you does not earn, because it's a pay per episode kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
So if Sharon, if Joel, you're being selfish, right? So you only want to come to negotiate. So you say, I want to go from so much money to $1 million an episode.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
So 90 episodes, $1 million.
90 mil.
They thought they were worth 90 mil.
No, it's not about, it's okay. We all know our worth. You have to know, I always ask people, you have to know your worth, right? If you put in time and effort, right, you are permitted to negotiate. I can see it. I can see what you're doing. It's a symbiotic relationship. I need you need me, right?
Yeah.
So we can discuss. We can have a discussion, right? But a negotiation is only that when you come and you talk.
Yeah.
A hostage situation is where you demand. So you cannot just walk in and say, I want $1 million, straight up. Or it was legendary. If you go back and you see online, if you go and dig up Kampala Sun papers, I remember Conrad, our boss, laid out everything by the dirty laundry in the newspaper.
Really?
Yeah, like
why did you do that?
He said, like, look, people are asking questions. I'm gonna just tell everyone what is happening. And if you go up and dig up the papers, you'll see it was an epic battle. It was crazy because somebody says, "I want so much money," or somebody's like, "Yeah, I want so much money. I'm here on a contract. You know what I mean? Like, Bahrain, they want to pay me like so many millions, so many millions, to be on a billboard, but I ain't eating because I'm here." And I'm like,
what?
And you're like, look, hold up. Nobody ever stopped you from doing that gig. And your contract doesn't state that you can't do that gig, right?
Yeah.
So how ridiculous does it sound that you're saying you can't do that because of this? Do you know your own contract? You know what I mean, right? Then so like why can't you do that?
Yeah.
If you're worried about something, come and ask us and we clear it up, because we were never the type of production house that didn't want our own peeps to eat,
Yeah.
I mean, some of these actors, they got deals for appearing, advertising something here and there. It was their own money. We never took anything from them. It was their own gig. But how did they get the gig? From being on the show, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. They would go out and use the character names, refer to themselves as the same character, which they shouldn't have because it's intellectual property of the production company. But nobody was on their case, you know what I mean? It built careers for guys, right?
It did.
Yeah.
People still remember people from the hostel.
I know. And they still call them by those names. And I remember in
show.
arguments, I was like, people don't know your real name. They know your character name.
Yeah.
Don't fool yourself.
Yeah.
People are like, people know your character name. They don't know your name. Guys, so that was it. So around that time, there was a re-management commitment, and then Hostel 4.
Yeah.
So we decided Hostel 4, brand new cast, everything, and switched it up. Because you gotta move, those guys were getting older. It was not logical to have them still in the hostel. You needed younger guys. So at that time, the company was in transition. So I produced and became head of production like episode 20 onwards of Hostel Serenity. So I started handling the other projects, which brought me now back to Five at Home. A show we had been stuck, we had shot pilots for it, we would watch them. Something was a little bit off. And I always told the team, this is the best show we have.
Yeah.
Is Five at Home a drama?
It's a drama. It's a comedy drama.
Comedy drama.
Yeah.
Heavy on the drama.
Yeah, but heavy on the drama. So when we started writing it, and because we were very true to each other and we were like family, we would put like things about ourselves in our scripts. Like, we have our little running jokes. Like when we watch the show, we'd be like, that's a this, the third. So, but when we started structuring it and breaking down, I started to see how big this show was. I was like, this right here is going to be a show that now sets a bar again for Ugandan productions, right? But the company was changing. Conrad had moved on. Soler had gone. I was also, the core team was going away. But I made sure that at the end of season 2, we closed the story off. Again, coming back to the whole thing in Uganda of people just not being willing to work together. There are very few of us who are willing to work together.
Yeah.
But then suddenly now a TV station who you deal with starts to think you're the competition, and yet you show it on their TV station and it brings in ratings, and they are trying to cut your feet, you know, so that their production, you know what I mean, they will stifle you with, they will cut your episode halfway. I mean, it is so childish. And I remember a certain TV station here wrote back to us and insulted Five at Home badly, really badly, and
for what reason?
Pure malice. And I'm very defensive of my teams, and I don't do lousy work, so my teams don't do lousy work, you know. So I remember having a meeting, and the boss of the TV station was in the room with us, and I totally lost my cool with them because it was blatant. I was like, this is just, you know. And I remember telling them that this is a show that's going to, this show doesn't belong on local TV. I was that adamant. And finally, man, a distributor bought it and went quiet for about, they bought it like Jan 2016, and then they went silent for like, but they knew what they wanted because they really liked the show. And even until today, I get emails from some people and calls like, yo, we need to and 3 and 4. I'm like, nah, I don't own it, so I can't shoot it. You know, it's a fast track thing, and I don't work with them anymore. So I remember, you know, getting early this year, getting the call and being told, hey, Fox Life now, which had launched, the Fox Life channel is for Africa, and they're looking for good quality African entertainment. Liked it, and I took it on board, and that was a big deal because I was like, yeah, man, like. We're on Fox, right? And funny enough, the same stations and people they call, hey, what the show? But now you gotta go talk to those guys and get it, you know, and pay maybe 20 times more than what they paid me. So it's just been a labor of love and knowing what you want to do, because my dad has tried to get me to run the company, family biz. I tried, but it's not for me. I worked with the UN. Worked with UNHCR in Kenya.
Yeah.
I've done, you know, I've had, I helped my friend run and make a very popular place in Kigali, very popular, Virunga, Club Virunga. I've done like things, and it comes back to film, end of the day. And I can proudly say at least like I've lived off film. Yeah, like I've actually made an earning.
Yeah.
So we've been blessed, like, to be able to, predominantly Light Media does feature films and has done like small series here and there. But on my end, Swift Films, I have written a lot, produced a lot. You know, I get contracts now with a consultant. Somebody calls me, come and put my studio in order. You know, or somebody calls me and says, we're doing this project. The script is a mess. Help us out, you know. I do that a lot. So there's so much that me, Soler, people like me, Soler, we want to teach, you know, like our fellow filmmakers in UG, or make sure it becomes professional. Yeah, so mine has been like that journey, and like constantly reading and discovering and understanding how we do things.
Yeah.
But also, I don't claim that I know all of it. You know, I have people who are my mentors. I meet people all the time who blow my mind, and I ask them questions.
Yeah.
And you learn. So, yeah, I do. I come back home and I'm always looking to produce something.
Oh, I want to know how you pick out that, because you're pitched all the time.
Yeah.
So what projects do you usually pick to work on? What's the spark?
First of all, most guys lift stories.
From somewhere.
Yes. If I wasn't a guy who read a lot or was quite knowledgeable, I would be in trouble as a producer.
Yeah.
A lot of you, I don't know why, a lot of kids over here give you a story, and I'm like, I look at that act, I'm like, you know this is from,
like point for point
listed. I'm like,
really?
you know this is from this movie. No, I'm like, hey man, if we watch this movie together, we're gonna see. Yeah, you might have changed the words, but it is. And they say, yeah, okay, I watched this movie and I wanted to do something like this movie, and then sounds like it's not really your work, is it? Because you've not given me. Don't get all of us. We take from something.
But
but if you look at all alien movies, with the aliens coming to Earth, one movie first did it, right? The alien came to Earth, right? And then everybody had the idea, right?
Yeah.
But it's the way you write it, okay? But I cannot take Independence Day and then some guy tried to pitch to me an Independence Day version for UG. So he goes like this: the aliens come, and guess what? It's Independence Day, UG. It's October 9th, right? Okay.
It's October 9th.
You get it? So, and then like whatever, we are fighting, and so for him it was like a colonization story, and it's like, I'm like, but dude, my dude, you do see that this is Independence Day, right? You get, right? You're not even making an attempt. You're not making an attempt to
I kind of want to see that movie.
I know, right?
Like a good idea.
Yeah, most of the time my boys are like, yo, make that movie. Make that movie. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
Man, I told you. One of my things that I want to do a movie for the asylum. Sharknado. And I want to do one. I've been trying to write a bad movie.
Feel you, man.
And pitch it to them. I'm like, dude, my guy, they've made 5 Sharknados. I can make some garbage. Like, they make 10 of them. So it's like, yeah, I know. And it's like crazy. And I know these kids, the guys get inspired. Like right now, I have another bunch of kids I've been mentoring. And there's one guy, he can write.
Yeah.
He has potential. You can see it. But guys will deal with me, talk to me, and they know I've been successful in my way of what I've done, and they just want a shortcut. Like, how do I get the money? How do I get my stuff on Amazon? Showmax. How do I? Like, dude, it's work. I'm not the guy who shot, directed, produced, edited, wrote the script, acted it. It's a whole chain of people, and people who have the same mindset, And a guy right now, he has a dope story. I mean, he has an idea for a dope story, but I do not know. I keep trying. It's caught up between Cars and Fast and Furious.
Cars is the animated movie Cars.
Okay.
You can see it. It's layered. It's layered with Pixar stuff. It's layered with Fast and Furious. I'm like, but my guy, you want to do that movie? I'm like, fine. Let write it, but just a rip-off. People are gonna see and know it's a rip-off.
People see right through that shit.
Somebody will see and be like, hey, nah. For me, it's been interesting because when I look back to when we started, like just fooling around as kids, shooting little videos with our parents, big monster handheld. I don't even know why they call them handheld cameras. They call them shoulder or something. Shooting those little things with my sisters or my cousins or my friends, and then actually doing it as a living. It's pretty impressive. It's like, for me, it's like, oh yeah, I can justify my path, but it's hard work because like right now I'm involved in a project with Arts Media where you guys came, and in terms of radio, TV, this we really don't have anything.
What do you mean you don't have anything? Like, we don't have anything good?
But like when you look at, like we did the hostel. People have copied that format.
Big time.
They have done it over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So when we look and say, I have a son, my friends have kids, my boss has kids, my other business partners have kids. When you look at it, when we were growing up, I remember running home from school to watch a certain hour on TV because it catered for kids. And here in Africa, we always have, you have people are complaining with the content Nickelodeon puts on TV, Cartoon Network, Disney, right? Now you can't blame those guys. Those guys make content and put it out there. If you want to watch it, you watch it, right? But the other day, I saw Disney telling guys in South Africa, give us content. Give us content, man. Yeah, we put Ben 10. Put Loud House. Okay. It's not to insult you guys, but if you don't want it, fine. So what do? Do we close the channel and you guys don't get Disney and Cartoon Network, right? Or do you start providing us content, which not only you want to see, but somebody in UG, Kenya, SA, the whole world can watch? Because if you think about it, we don't have like,
I think it's just like Super Strikers. Or
exactly.
XD and that's it.
Which was an African thing.
Yeah.
That was bought,
Yeah.
But So that's what we're trying to do. Like, if you sit down and think, there is absolutely no African iconic kid character or story.
Wow, so is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, so right now, God willing, we are trying to create a show for kids, be it one for radio and one for TV, whereby we can speak to kids in UG, but kids in Kenya can relate, kids in Nigeria can relate, and then trying to craft a iconic African, be it cartoon character, or like, you know how we had Teletubbies, something like that. Because African stories are very rich. You know, like sometimes I have tapped into them when I'm writing my sci-fi and scary things, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a person who and I always recount or retell the stories to my son. They don't do this in school anymore. They absolutely don't tell kids. They don't tell kids about Nambi.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they don't.
Really?
They don't. They don't. It's not that.
It's actually not there.
It's just as though it's like a curriculum thing.
No, they don't. They don't.
That's
but we used
really
to have
unfortunate.
books on
Yeah, there was that,
Nambi.
remember that yellow book?
We had books.
They don't have any.
They don't
So
have.
we had a collection of all the stories. And that's
So
disappointing.
so when we started looking at it like that, because when we told the story to my son and my girl, then he started relating it to. He's like, yeah, it's like this movie. It's like this. It's like this stuff of Walt Disney, you know. And we have these stories, and like.
We do.
Okay, 100% agree with you. Even like my younger sisters, they've just grown up assuming Africa doesn't have shit. Like,
I know.
They know everything about like the Arthurian mythologies,
but they don't
all
know
that stuff. Like
my
Africa's
son will tell you
nothing.
about the Greeks, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't know. They don't know that we've had those stories of gods and battles. And, and you know, we sit down and there's a friend of mine who's been writing a comic, you know, a graphic novel, and somebody at Dark Horse might be interested in it. And we're talking about like, you know, like we're talking about like, you know, these African, you know, gods and, you know, so on, and this, because I mean, they make Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Those are Greek gods, right?
Yeah.
But we have those stories in Africa. You go to Nigeria, you go to Botswana, there's a small tribe that has this amazing story about these African gods that were like alien space guys. It's like their oral history. You go like to Mali, and you know you listen to the oral history about, you know, Timbuktu and the journals, and like, you know, how the castle and the palace walls are built like a big combination. It's like you listen to the stories, you're like, dude, you know, Hollywood is struggling right now to come up with original stuff.
They're
right?
redoing it.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, and then you tell people the stories and they're amazed, they're blown, they're like, what? Like, you know, we have this, but. Even now, I complain with my kids' school and so on, because we had dance and drama festivals growing up. It was like one of the best times of the year.
Yeah.
But there are dance and drama festivals these days. If you go, guys are dancing to Nicki Minaj.
They have Godfather themes.
I know. You get it?
Yeah.
They will do that. They will do. You know, I saw some friend of mine sent me a video of a kids' school where they did a sequence from Empire, you know, a musical. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like,
okay, that's depressing.
Yeah, I'm like, so when we sat down as adults, those of us who really love, you know, our country and not that others don't, but then, so we started thinking about it and said, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that, right now we have Connect. Why don't you make a radio program? Why don't you make a TV show that can get people now talking again about, you know, our cultural stuff, right?
Yeah.
You get. So that's the one right now that we're involved in, and next week I go away briefly for a week. We're sitting away brainstorming on it, and to try and make sure that you know you can maybe it doesn't get on Walt Disney at the beginning, but it can be on local channels across Africa. And that's the funny thing is, like, I tell you again, Five at Home, you know, we had people, our own people, hating on us and trying to crush it, right?
Yeah.
And then because the foreign station takes it and puts it on, it's relevant.
It's not a big thing.
Yeah, it's the validation. You understand? So it's like, do we need, like, does it first need to go to Walt Disney and then be like, you know what I mean, right? Like, come on, we can make it, and then Walt Disney can come and say, guys, please, can we? You know, because we see the value in this. So right now, that's what I'm involved in getting this out. Yeah. And it's hard work as usual, but it is, because you look at kids every day and kids don't know, man. Kids know the lyrics to to every Migos song you can think of, but kids cannot recite those childhood songs we would sing when we were playing. Guys are playing Kwepena.
Mathew, I want a comparison for Uganda v Kenya because you've worked in both industries. Yes. What are your thoughts on both?
Well, first of all, the Kenyan film industry is been there longer, well established. It has its compartments that work, and of course some that don't work. The biggest, I would say, difference between us and them is working together. In Kenya, you meet people there, people there, you can collaborate and do something. The difference with us here is it's very difficult to do that, because somebody will look at me and want me to invest everything, right, into a project, right?
Yeah.
But let's say person A has done work just as much as me, person B has, and they see. So let's say me and person A are looking at the longer term, and we do we put because don't be fooled. No movie, no series is one investor. It's such a risk. You have to spread your risk, right? So you're gonna call up Joel, like put in something, Sharon put in something, and then we know how we shall split, the profits and so on, right? So it's never one person's money. You just don't do business like that. It's crazy, right? So somebody will have let's say I have a script I want to do in UG. I know the people are core who will be ready to say let's do this, but then now you want to get, because first of all, we don't even have proper rate cards in UG. We don't have, right? We don't have people at all. So people, maybe somebody was getting 100 Gs at the most for an episode on TV, and then let's say DSTV comes and does a show, and DSTV will pay them maybe $300 per episode for 5 episodes. Yeah, let's say, right, an estimate. And then when that goes away, they're still going to want to charge that same rate. It can't work.
That's true.
Because when I do my rewrites here, if somebody calls me to look at something and I see it has value and I want to do it, it meets my principles and my ethics, I know what I can charge a TV station in UG. I know the price, the maximum they can pay me. And I know if I push past that maximum, I know what I can get. That is way different than if I'm dealing with a foreign production house. Because already a foreign production house, just by looking at my CV and what I've done and knowing who I am, they have rates for experience. You understand? That's what I try to tell guys over here. We need to work together and build it. So it's like, and that's why most of we have filmmakers who have such an high output in UG, such an high output of films. Like a guy is literally doing a film every 2 weeks, and he's in 15 festivals, right? But at the end of the day, there is no quality to his work. You understand? You can watch all his movies back to back, and there is no quality. Because he writes, he produces, he edits, he directs, you know what I mean? Moneylenders have made this a problem in our city.
Really?
Yeah. Most filmmakers go to moneylenders.
Oh, what? That's the thing I never...
Because guys are doing a movie for $5 million. So a guy will go and say yo, give me $5 million. And they know, you're good. Joel will bring us back our profit. You get it? So a guy does a movie, quickly, shoots it, does it in a week, edits it in 2 days, packages it, National Theatre launch. Sells it on the street. You understand?
And they get their money back.
Yeah, he gets some money, but he's not getting. It's a hand-to-mouth business now for him. You can't have all of that. The other thing I'm arguing, and I'm really trying to do this, to be honest, is to have a proper film award in this country. Because we just have random film awards in this country.
We have Uganda Film Festival.
No. Forget theirs is good because now the categories give you money.
Yes,
yeah,
it's really
and it's good money.
Yeah,
and I'm happy because UCC has been listening to us all these years. They now listen to us, they engage us, and they are one group of people who are trying. So they'll call you up, Mathew, come and we have a meeting. What
they
do you
really
think?
can call you.
Yeah, you get it? I remember at the time, 2013 or 14, I think in the span of 3 months, I was up and down with them for a while. But they're getting it because they know the film is lucrative, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at us, and if you look at us and compare us to Kenya, right? Even if you just compare us now to Rwanda, who are putting things in order, right, film-wise, the problem we have, there's no unity. That's our biggest issue.
Yeah.
You get, and it's that mentality. You know what I mean, right? You do something and then like your work is on DSTV.
Yeah.
Man, I've arrived. Nah, can't have a meeting with Joel anymore.
Yeah.
What does he know? But you can't really see like they have different sections. You know, I have respect for guys of work Hollywood. I remember when Who Killed Captain Alex came out, I saw it. I'm like, this guy's about to make a killing. And he is.
Yep.
Dude is in Malaysia, isn't he, right?
He is.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I think he's shooting an action movie or something.
Jesus. He went viral.
Exactly, but that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And then I tell guys, like, I've learned it. I was like, man, I have no problem putting my stuff online. There's a new thing I'm finishing. I'm going to put it online. All of them. I've told the guys, every single episode will go online come next year.
Yet my details online.
Yeah, finally, you know. But, you know, that was something that I was hired to fix at the end, you know. But that's it. Like, if you look at Insecure.
Oh, yeah.
But I was watching it on YouTube. Yeah, and what makes you think that the audience who watches it online will not watch it on a bigger station?
They will, very dedicated.
I mean, HBO is not stupid for watching things online and say, man, I like your stuff. Because it's something I'm doing right now. It's about young guys working in a cooking thing. You know, because I've heard stories from some of my friends and they're funny. So I started writing it guys for the street. So I said, when this is done, this one I'm just putting it on YouTube. Let guys watch it. Yeah. Somebody will come for it. Like, I mean, it's like, but I always ask my friends here who make films. Okay, you make a film, you have a carpet launch, and then you have it at home in your DVD player. Who is watching? Mathew, you know, I don't want to put it on DSTV
because
DSTV is not going to pay me. I'm like, they will pay you if it's good, right? But okay, if you put it on DSTV, there's some guy in West Africa sees it. He might holler at you and be like, yo,
people
my God.
holler. People really holler.
If you don't put it online, then what? I mean, how can I buy something I don't see?
Yeah.
The guy's like, nah, the dude, the homeboy of mine, he's on film 73 in Clark. He has pushed 73 flicks in 8 years. I'm like, my guy. I only remember film 4 because I was on set.
Film 73.
Yeah, but then every week he's doing a film.
Yeah.
I'm like, homie, you're gonna Spielberg has not done 73.
No.
You get what I mean, right? Like, I'm like, dude, you have, and it's like, it's just he writes a script, 10, 15 pages, has the idea, has people he's worked with, they go and set and they freestyle it after page 10.
Okay.
You understand, right? And how are we progressing? So that's the problem. We have such a high output in UG, very low quality. A lot of it's very low quality. We don't really have a union.
Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. I wanted you to first plug if there's anything of yours out there, which that people can watch.
Right now, there's a cut of Subira they can watch on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a cut of it there. So if you go on Amazon Prime and you type Subira, it's a Kenyan movie, 2016. It just went up on Subira. It went up on Amazon like 3 months ago. There's 5 at Home and Fox Life. There's 2 other movies which I'm producing will soon be out.
Okay.
Yeah, so those should be online soon. There's a TV show which will be on YouTube in Jan.
Nice.
It's called Work. Yeah, so there is stuff that's coming. There's my book which should be.
What's your book titled?
Don't have a name yet.
What's it about?
It's a bunch of. I've written so much sci-fi and short stories over the years. So some of them are like really big pieces, and you cannot shoot them. So some friends of mine were like, "Man, do the stuff like which you like of your guys, Stephen King." So he does short stories in a book.
Okay.
So it went from just short stories to like they realized normally I have a habit of like linking my scary stories or whatever stories to each other. I put a little clue here, a clue there. So it started off with writing one book, then another book, then 3, because they want a trilogy. So I am now down to the last couple of chapters in the 3rd one. I'm on the last part and I'm like thinking about where to go because I kind of want to close it, but they don't want because they have somebody who has seen the manuscript and wants to make it into a feature.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're still there discussing, but yeah, I think it's. But then there's another book which I finished, which is just a horror story based on an incident in Malindi, which is also like a true story, and then also a true story that happened in Texas, kind of similar to each other. So it's an alien kind of thing, paranormal. So I've been writing it. I'm done. I actually finished it last week. So it's now just the proofing phase, and so it will probably come out.
You're writing all the time.
Yes, I am. I find, I don't know. I told Joel last week. He said he found time to rest, not me, man. yeah. But I'll get there. It's cool though. But thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks for coming. Thanks so much, Mathew.
Yeah.
Chan-Piu.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, don't talk about the Brackheimer part. I don't people know it. And the low, yeah.
Okay, that's been our episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kudos.